Yeah, anyways, I wanted to get that out there, just so you know. There's a dude named Crispy Bacon.
Love that.
So good.
Dude, he was the composer from Mithrigan 2.0.
Whoa, Ryan, there's a connection.
Did you ever watch
He's
that?
worked on... I did watch that.
You did?
In theaters.
You gave it your hard-earned money. Way to go,
it was fine. Yeah. It was kind of... It was that like...
Welcome to Afterthoughts, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to Afterthoughts, everybody. This is our recommend or refute episode where we have each watched something separately and have brought it to the podcast, and we'll tell you about the movie and whether we recommend or refute it. I am your host, Michael Dixon. With me, as always, the great Ryan King.
He was a composer for Romeo and Juliet. The bad Men in Black.
He's still going.
The Men in Black International.
He doesn't even know if it's going to be in the beginning of this episode or not. He's just still reading it off.
Atlas Shrugged 2?
Wait, there was a second one?
Dear Lord, oh man.
Did Atlas shrug again? My God.
Atlas power cleaned.
It's objectively stupid. Just the way that the joke was made.
And the not so great John Garcia.
Hey, what are you coming at me for? God, come on. I didn't bring schlock this time, kind of, sort of.
I don't believe you.
All right, well, fine.
All right.
You'll find out.
Ryan, what did you watch this week?
So rounding out my animated films from last year, we finally had a day where my entire family was home and available, and we watched Zootopia 2.
Bunny, Fox! This is a make or break assignment. Fail, and I will split you up.
No snake has set foot in Zootopia in forever.
Hops and Wild?
Wild and Hops. The dream team. Sorry, Paul.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You know, Disney just loves sequels now. It does seem like they started off right where it was like a new movie every couple of years and then a new movie every year. And then it's like they got to where they realized sequels were where the money was really at. And then that's just where they really try to stick in that zone.
We're only going to have like 5 Disney franchises going forward that just keep shitting out reiterations.
Those.
I mean, Ryan, you saw Alio or whatever the fuck it was called. You told us.
Okay, well, all right.
They're not going to be doing that anymore.
Yeah, maybe they purposely put something shitty out every so often to be like, see, we should stick with sequels.
Stop annoying us. We're going to keep making sequels, and you're going to keep watching them, you fucking son of a bitch.
Art is dead, okay? It's only money.
Yeah. Zootopia, I think I enjoy it quite a lot. We've gone back and watched it. I think it's a fun kind of like dynamic of the characters. I think the plot is pretty dumb and straightforward for the original Zootopia, right? Like, oh, we've created this, utopia of animals, but secretly the predator and the prey don't get along, right? And then we have a betrayal character, which is another like Disney trope, right? There's always somebody who's like, oh, they were the bad guy all along.
Is there an orphan?
Wait, so all Disney movies are just giallo? Is that what you're saying? Black gloved killers?
I don't think they do the like hand of the villain out. Yeah,
they don't do that. Yeah,
not really.
They should.
Yeah, that should start that. That would be good. So it's hard to know, like, all right, what are they going to do with Zootopia 2? All right, do we fully retread it or do we just do something completely different? They like kind of retread it, where they explain that there are no reptiles in Zootopia, which I was like, didn't think about or notice in the first one. It's kind of like, okay, I guess it was
racist.
all mammals.
Didn't even notice.
Apparently, yeah,
the
because
reptile
that's
erasure in the first movie.
Yes. There's like in the first movie, there's like in a predator prey like kind of imbalance a little bit, but this is like straight up. They used to have, like, you find out through the movie, there used to be a reptile part of Zootopia, but they literally like erased. They like covered over that part of the city, right, with a new part of the city. Yes, and then they've like erased from history that was ever a thing. And the original like designer of the stuff for Utopia was a snake. But then the Lynx family like took it over and said that they were the ones that did it and like erased that.
What? And then they formed the Lynx Defense Force, the LDF. Oh Jesus!
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Zootopia 2 is taking a dark turn.
Yeah, and so like plot wise, that works because it is kind of retreading right the Zootopia bits. Instead of having these like two characters like coming together to try to work together, we already have our main characters like working together, and more of just like they're working together, but it's not working well as they kind of try to figure out what their rhythm is, I guess. So we kind of like still try to have that dynamic. And then we throw in a snake voiced by Ke Huy Quan. Right, I just totally butchered that, didn't it?
Ke Huy Quan.
How do you say that?
Ke Huy
Ke Huy
Quan.
Quan. Okay.
Classic Ryan.
I kind of got it.
You almost got it.
I kind of got it.
Yeah.
I was in the zone.
You were close.
I was in it was in the ballpark.
Sure.
Academy Award winner.
Academy Award winner.
Yes.
Ke Huy Quan.
Yeah.
I know I came in a little early, so it's kind of goaltending. I guess you get the points anyway.
We'll check the tape. We'll go back. We'll check the tape.
So you're saying that this is Rush Hour with animals. Got it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, cool.
Maybe, yeah. I think the first one, yeah. It is definitely is, right? They go for that buddy cop thing. It's got its moments for sure. That they're from different parts of town. Yeah, so Zootopia 2 is like serviceable. It's pretty much what you want from like a sequel, I guess, from Disney of like just more of the same characters. You kind of retread. I guess they didn't learn any like
lessons from the first
new
one?
lessons or anything. It's kind of like the same lesson. That always annoys me, right? The Little Mermaid 2 is the one that I point to where I'm like, literally the plot of Little Mermaid 2 is that her daughter now wants to go do stuff, and the Little Mermaid's like keeping her from doing it, but then finds out that like, okay, maybe I am too close. It's like the exact same, like the lesson that her dad learned, she just copied, and right, because we just need to rehash the same thing because it's
at least that was like a give up straight to VHS thing. It wasn't like a real movie that like was released in theaters.
Yeah,
right.
Cinematic experience.
Yeah.
Right. And like all in all, it's fine. Like it's all pretty good. Like I gave this I think like a 3.5 stars. Like it's it's better than average.
Beautifully animated, I assume.
It's really well animated. It's funny. I don't think there's as many memorable funny things for me as from Zootopia 1. But it has its moments. I will say it sets up a sequel.
Oh no.
That is like, all right, so on the nose, what is the third Zootopia if the first one was getting our prey and predators together, and the second one is to pull in all the reptiles?
What is this, like an aquatic
Humans.
thing? Is this an aquatic thing?
There's no birds in Zootopia.
Oh, it's an avian thing.
Birds for some reason.
God, I really thought it was going to be a
yeah.
water thing. I thought they were going to be like, we don't even have a water park in this Zootopia where we can exploit whales.
James Cameron is not involved. As far as I
thought that was going to happen.
The sequel, yeah.
Subtitles on whales. It's really big.
Yeah, they never bring up the like key question of what all the predators are eating.
Don't worry about it. It's a nutritious
I kind of
sludge.
assumed initially that I was like, that like fish and birds weren't people. And that was okay.
They draw the line. Oh man, could you imagine a billboard in Zootopia that has like the "Where do you draw the line?" and it's like all the animals.
Zootopia 9 is all the animals just starving to death because out of respect for one another.
They've all earned rights. Yeah, they all have equal rights now.
God.
The slugs have asserted their rights in society, and now everyone is just dead. Just
wild, just wild. Well, okay, so you sound like you're like half-hearted recommending it, which to me says
this is that like fine. I would say like not recommend. I would put it in the like fine for kids. Kids will enjoy it. If your family's like Zootopia and wants more, you're looking for a family movie, it's fine. You'll do fine.
A decent matinee,
way worse out there. Yeah. But if you're in that like, hey, I want to see a great animated film, no.
Okay.
This isn't in that category of like best animated film, only in that there's only so many animated films that get nominated.
I was really hoping you were going to bring a Fast and Furious movie to us, Ryan. I believe recently you told us that you and Darla were going through the Fast and Furious series, and I wanted to hear your takes on anything from that franchise.
He just brought you Fast and Furious.
We were planning to like fire through all of them. Like we're gonna sit down and we were gonna like knock them out, and we got through 3. Which
what?
I
3 is the
watched
worst one.
Yeah.
You got to power through that.
Hold on. I have an opinion there.
Okay.
I've watched 1 and 3 before. Those are like the ones that I hadn't watched. So really, I was only picking up like getting an appreciation for 1 because I hadn't liked it before, and I appreciated it this time. I fucking love Too Fast, Too Furious. That was like. That took it to a whole nother thing. I actually really fucking enjoyed that movie, and I actually on a rewatch, I don't think Tokyo Drift is bad. I just think it's a different movie from the other like Fast and Furious, so much so that it feels really out of place.
How come I never see you drift?
Franklin, what are you doing? It does feel
like the
here?
only like truly, it felt like the only truly like character driven like of Fast and Furious that I've watched, which includes, what did we watch? X?
Yeah, we watched Fast X.
So we have also watched Fast X. So I do feel like 3 had the like character driven, like he's actually going through things, trying to figure himself out, and like.
But if it doesn't have a bald guy in it, is it really a Fast and Furious movie?
Right, but is it a Fast and Furious movie?
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I actually fully think I'm betting if I go look it up, that was a script that was already written. That they smacked Fast and Furious on top of.
Probably.
It could be.
It absolutely feels like that.
Makes sense. Yeah, isn't it weird that Vin Diesel doesn't communicate with the cosmos, and yet he has to use family to be connected?
He's fully
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
He always knows what's going on.
Surround himself with people with hair.
Yeah, that's right.
No, he's just increasingly as the movies go on, surrounding himself with more bald people.
Yeah. Wait a minute. It's true. He's amassing an army of bald people to fight against the cosmos.
It is on my list to get through the rest of the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, please get back on
whenever
that.
the next one. Yeah, whenever the next one comes out, we'll catch up before. What is it? Fast X2?
I don't know if it's going to happen.
11.
I don't know
they announced it, didn't they? They announced it, I thought.
Yeah,
recently,
they've announced it.
I feel like they've been false starting on that movie for so long now. I don't know.
They'll kick it into gear one of these days. 12th gear.
It says 2028 is the current time.
After the Spider-Verse.
Does it say pre-production on the status? That means that nothing's happening.
Frederick Wiseman to direct. That's not happening. Oh no, rest in peace.
That's the best thing to do when you leave a movie on a cliffhanger. Is just fucking wait years to come back to it.
Edge your audience. Yeah. It's going to be called Fast Edge.
Why is everyone so wrinkly and fat in this? This is supposed to take place immediately after the last one.
It's going to turn into, there was a Jay Leno bit where they did Gone, when they did Gone in 60 Seconds, they had Jay Leno did a bit called Gone in 60 Minutes where it was old people driving cars. That's what it's going to be. I want to really quick call out because I've never seen Too Fast, Too Furious, but that's the one where Vin Diesel doesn't show up in that one, right?
Correct. No, he doesn't show up in either Too Fast, Too Furious or Tokyo Drift.
Yeah. But there is an Instagram account dedicated to just showing the same clip over and over again from Too Fast, Too Furious, which is the forget about it sequence in which they do the let your man go. And I'm going to play that clip right here.
Let your man go, huh?
Drop it. I don't want to talk about it.
Drop it, hell. I want to hear about this, homie.
I said forget about it, cuz.
The fucking handle just plays that every day, and it's called the Daily Cuh, and I love it. It is what the internet was made for. It's so good.
Forget about it, cuz.
It's so good. Oh, man. Well, yeah, that's great. I'm sorry that Zootopia 2 was kind of like a matinee suckfest, but, at least you've got
sequels go Too Fast, Too Furious is
that's better.
Way better than Zootopia 2.
There you go. That's what you want to know. That's what the people out there want to know.
Zootopia. All right, John, we're going to reserve you for last because you have requested because you feel like your movie is more important than the rest of ours.
That's true, yeah.
So I am going to go next. I watched a 1962 Italian film.
Here he goes, everybody.
called Il Sorpasso.
Did it Il Sorpasso your expectations?
It kind of met my expectations.
Oh, okay.
Il Sorpasso translates to the Italian art of passing someone in your car.
Oh.
And it is
an overtake?
Yeah. Like aggressively passing someone on the highway.
Yeah.
This came out in 1962. It is kind of So Italian neorealism was really big post World War II with like Roberto Rossellini making Rome Open City, and all these films like Bicycle Thieves that came after that were like really focusing on almost documentary feel for narrative fiction stories. And, you know, it was very influential in cinema, and, you know, a lot of movies kind of take their feel from Italian neorealism. Il Sorpasso was part of a movement of Italian comedies in the 60s that was kind of a backlash to Italian neorealism, where they were like, look, you know, that's cool and all, but these movies are really depressing. And like now the country's doing a little bit better, recovering from the war. You've got a little bit more money now. The economy's doing better. We want to have some more feel-good comedy movies. And so Il Sorpasso is a road movie buddy comedy. It is directed by Dino Risi and starring Vittorio Gassman as Bruno Cortona and Jean-Louis Trintignant as Roberto Mariani. John, you may recognize Jean-Louis Trintignant, I'm not French, as the old man in Amour. And he is a very young man in this movie. He plays a law student who is studying at his apartment in Rome, and it's some sort of holiday. It's not really specified, and the city is kind of deserted. All the places are closed, and there is this guy, Bruno, who is driving through the city and trying to find something to do, and he is supposed to meet up with some friends, and he's late, and he's trying to find a phone, and every place is closed, and finally he sees Jean-Louis Trintignant's character at the window, Roberto, and he says, hey, man, I'm looking for a phone. I can't find one. I got to call my friends. I'm trying to meet up with them. So he's like, all right, look, I'm studying, but like if you want to come up and make a quick phone call, like that's fine. So he comes up into his apartment, makes a phone call. His friends have left him, and he's like, hey, man, like I don't got anything to do. It's a holiday. You want to go get some lunch? I'm hungry. And Roberto's kind of like hesitant about it. And he's like, you know, he's kind of like captivated by Bruno's, you know, kind of charm. And he's like, all right, cool. Let's go to lunch. That leads to them driving around the city forever, trying to find a restaurant that's open on a holiday and getting further and further away from downtown Rome. And they're like, by the end, like they keep getting further away. And he's like, all right, well, this place is closed, or this place sucks, or the wait's too long. So let's go to this next place. Oh, here's some hot girls in this convertible. Let's chase after them for a while. Oh, like, well, I know a good place that does great fish soup. It's just down the way, another hour or so, you know, and it just keeps getting from like lunch to like, they're like staying overnights in the countryside, and it turns into this like larger kind of journey. And it's basically Bruno is this character who just kind of flies by the seat of his pants. He's all about his charm and his ability to convince people of things, his ability to mooch off of other people, to kind of get what he wants. And he's charming and people like him, but if you get to know him for too long, you clearly don't like him, as occasionally you'll run into people from his past. Roberto is a, you know, very, you know, kind of insular law student who just wants to study all the time and is kind of like exposed to life by somebody who just lives by the seat of his pants and wants to, you know, kind of just experience everything in the moment. He's kind of taken by this guy, and, you know, they're just driving around the countryside, doing whatever the fuck they want, eating, chasing after women, passing every car they see, honking at everybody. And it's kind of this buddy comedy clash of cultures as, you know, the kind of the guy who's charming kind of teaches the introverted guy how to like get out and live a little. So it's a fun movie. It's darker than that. Like there are things that happen along the way where you encounter people from each of their past lives that kind of shed more light on who they are as characters. And it's an interesting kind of buddy comedy movie that clearly set the stage for a lot of buddy comedy and road movies to follow. Like, you know, even like Dumb and Dumber probably takes some things from this movie, whether it's directly from Il Sorpasso or from other movies that pulled things from it. But it's an interesting movie to kind of see where Italian culture was at the time as it's kind of coming out of the post-war period and trying to be something else, be a little bit lighter, have a little bit more fun. But there is a lot of darkness still in the film, and there's a lot of tragedy interwoven with the comedy in a way that I found to be a little bit more skillful than with Nail and I. But like describing the movie, you can find a lot of similarities in kind of how they're structured. I watched this on a Criterion Blu-ray. It was quite good. I've been trying to watch more Italian films this year. It's a kind of a goal of mine. And I've started with this one, but I want to watch more Fellini and Pasolini and Antonioni and some of these other directors that are thought of very highly that I have not really delved into much. So this is kind of my first foray this year into Italian cinema and kind of something different, a little bit more lighthearted and comedic. So Il Sorpasso, I would recommend it. It's not like a great piece of cinema, but it's interesting to see the influence that it has had on comedies, buddy comedies, and road movies since that time. So I would recommend Il Sorpasso.
So what, if you're on your journey to explore Italian cinema, what called you to Il Sorpasso versus watching something else by like Fellini or another, director, Italian director?
Mostly the fact that I would have to crack a box set to watch. Like I have a Fellini box set and I have a Pasolini box set and I have not started them yet. And I know that opening them is an active thing that means I'll have to keep watching those. And so I was like, let me start. I only have one movie by this director, Dino Risi. It's like a comedy. It's a little bit lighter. Let me start with this one before I get into more Italian cinema. And they're like Sergio Leone. I love, like, there's definitely like Italian cinema I'm familiar with, but some of the very well thought of Italian cinema I have not seen. So I also thought it sounded interesting because it's a road movie. You see a lot of Italy in the film. And so I thought that would be a fun way to kind of start out. Yeah,
I was kind of curious about that part too, because being the first film, and it sounds like the only film that you currently have in your collection from Dino Risi, what are things that you picked up on that are like this director's signature, or even the cinematography? Like, what is it that makes this stand out to you? Because you said it's not necessarily like the pinnacle or the best film, but it is, you can see how it influences others. What does it influence?
I just don't know that there had been a lot of comedy road buddy movies until this, it being 1962. Like, maybe there had been some American films before this that were doing that, but he was kind of part of a wave of directors that were kind of a backlash against neorealism. And I've seen some Italian neorealism. I've seen some Rossellini films. Mm-hmm. And so kind of seeing a different direction for Italian cinema to go was interesting to me, where like, it's not the spaghetti Western. It's not the Fellini intellectual film, like 8.5. It's something, it's much lighter, more commercial. It was a very successful film at the time, and it is supposedly very beloved in Italian culture, and I can see why that is. Like, it would be something that might play on TV in Italy fairly frequently, and I could imagine that being the case. I don't know that that's the case, but supposedly it's very popular there. And so I was like, I want to kind of a glimpse into Italian popular culture to kind of understand that. So there's not necessarily any filmmaking techniques that I was like, oh, that's a Dino Risi thing. And again, it's the only movie I've seen from him. Yeah. It's very well made. It's really well shot. Everything is very competently done. A lot of the movie is in the two actors playing off of each other and the dialogue that they have together, and kind of the where that relationship goes. And I don't want to give too much away, but it's kind of, they're two types of people that don't really mesh well together, and they both might kind of like each other and learn some things from each other, but maybe it's not a type of relationship that really works, where you have somebody who's like not grounded in reality at all and just trying to, kind of go off of charm and mooching off everybody, and a guy who's trying to like be serious about a law career. It's personalities that can benefit from each other, but also kind of destroy each other. And so I think it's interesting in how it analyzes those.
Nice.
I think the Bing Crosby, Bob Hope movies, those like Road to whatever. I think those are kind of the proto ones, but those are just like straight comedies, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I know why Dixon likes this. It's because it leads to his favorite Steve Coogan joint. Road Trip.
The Trip.
Yeah, the Trip. Yeah, there you go.
I love The Trip. John did not like The Trip, and I was very sad.
I didn't say that I didn't like it. I just said it wasn't the greatest movie. It was okay. Well, I'm very interested to hear more about your journey through Italian cinema. As somebody who now consumes mostly Italian cinema post 70s and 80s, it'll be interesting to hear more about what you see in the 60s to the 70s.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear about something that's not giallo and Western, which is all John and I know of Italians.
Yeah, it's like I've seen a decent amount of Argento. I've seen every Leone movie. Like, there's stuff that I know well, but there's a lot of Italian cinema that I don't. And so, want to explore more things there.
Did I talk about, because we were off all last season, and by last season, I mean last year, but like, I don't think that did I ever talk about the Argento film that I watched about the virtual poker card player?
I think you might have told me about this at work.
I told you about it. Ryan, did I tell you about it? Oh, God.
I think you talked to me about it, yeah.
Okay, just real quick cliff notes for everybody out there. Dario Argento in 2002 made a movie that was all about a serial killer who kills people, but only if the police lose to him in a video poker game, which is fucking insane. And it culminates in a climactic finish where the hero has to play video poker with him on train tracks, cuffed to the tracks. Like, it's wild. I don't even know. But anyways, that's not the Italian cinema Dixon is diving into. That's just what I'm going through. So yeah, there you go. That's a fun digression.
Argento is like, the highs are so high and the lows are so low. Like,
oh yeah,
it's just crazy.
Yeah. Highest to lowest?
Oh no. Too highest, too lowest.
Yeah, wait, why hasn't Spike Lee tried to adapt an Argento film? Come on, Spike Lee. Give it a shot.
No,
we'll see what happens.
Please, no.
Spike Lee presents Suspiria, the third one.
Guadagnino did a great Suspiria adaptation.
It was. I really did enjoy that.
But I just leave Argento alone, people. Cool. All right, John, what is this grand finale movie that you are bringing to us to really bring this podcast home?
I really know that you'd want to sink your teeth into this, Dixon, because it's a fun conversation to have. But before I do that, real quick, two honorable mentions here. And one quick note.
The suspense is just building.
Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie is currently out in theaters. If you hear this episode now, hopefully it's still out. Maybe you can go see it. If not, rent it. Great independent cinema. I've talked about it in the Retrospectacular. And then two movies that I saw, or one movie, one show that I saw that I want to recommend to folks. Xerophilia, which is a 2005 movie, was recommended to me by somebody. Has a very good, just like self-exploration, gender dynamic, sort of introspective comedy that is pretty funny, very predictable in some ways, but ultimately I just thought it was good, wholesome. And then I talked about Pluribus, maybe? I don't even know if I noted it. But Dixon, I was telling you I was watching Pluribus, and I finished it. There's going to be a season 2, which there's always kind of a season 2 for any TV show that does well, but Pluribus feels planned in a way that I want to see the season 2. And I enjoyed the character development of season 1. And I think that it's a rich and rewarding thing from Vince Gilligan, who did Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So I would recommend Pluribus if anybody out there had reservations. I really enjoyed it.
Interesting. I am intrigued by the concept. And liked Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, so I'm intrigued by it, but I am always just horrified of the level of time commitment that TV shows require of me when I could be watching so many movies instead.
It might be a good couples watch with Lindsay. She might enjoy it.
Nope, definitely
I don't know. She might. Who knows? Who knows? Sasha was compelled. So there's a lot of mystery to it. Sasha did not like the main character. I did. The main character is very cynical, and I enjoy that.
The woman from Better Call Saul?
Yep. She's kind of to a fault. She's cynical and is like oppositional to everything happening in the series. And Sasha was always like, why is she like the worst person? And I was like, I understand everything that she's trying to do. I understand all of this.
If I was dealing with a hive mind, I would be cynical too.
Exactly. And so there's like a lot of that. I think that it does a really good job of kind of exploring that character's dynamics and development.
Yeah.
In a way that makes it for fun discussion, which is what Sasha and I had. Like, we talked about it for a long time after we watched episodes. So that's why I'd recommend it.
Okay.
Neither of those things is what I'm bringing to recommend or refute. I was bending the rules. Ryan usually breaks them. I bend them. I'm gonna go with this movie's
Bending
been
pretty hard, John.
Phew, they're bending. They bend toward justice. I don't know.
I'm hearing some snapping happening.
So the movie that I'm taking or bringing here is something that's been in the headlines. Maybe everybody's heard about it. Maybe some people have seen it, but it's 2026's Iron Lung.
This is not an expedition. It's an execution. When they put you in here, they don't want you to return. And even if you do, and even if they keep their promises, what freedom waits for you? A few dying ships in a sea of dead stars. If there is still hope, it lies beyond the veil. Hope in this void is as illusionary as the starlight. I will choose to breathe my last here.
And that is the film directed by Mark Fischbach, I believe is his name. Yeah, Mark Fischbach, who goes by Markiplier. He is a YouTuber who has made a series of like Let's Play videos, usually around horror games. He has like a crazy number of people who follow him and subscribe. It's not his first film. He's made a number of other independent films, but they're all like YouTube published and kind of promoted. This is the first film that he has distributed himself as well. Like he's accrued enough money to independently fund and distribute this film, which is what makes it impressive. But like the premise of it is also in a way impressive in that it doesn't have high regard for like the audience doesn't need to know anything about it. It's an adaptation of a video game called The Iron Lung. And the premise is pretty absurd. In the future, humanity spreads out into the stars via space stations, spaceships, all this other stuff. And then there's something called like the quiet rapture, where suddenly space stations and supposedly stars start to disappear from the sky. Humans don't see any of the other spaceships that they could communicate with or colonies. And there's like a colony of people that are left to drift in the darkness. Within that, this is all like set up in like a title scroll. Everybody who is left is trying to find resources. And supposedly one of the only places that might have something of value that can give humans like constant food and sustenance happens to be a moon that has an ocean of blood, like pure blood in it. And
human blood?
Yeah, it's like I think it's just regular, it's random blood. It's just I don't even know if it's human blood or specified. They never really talk about it. But the whole movie is told from the perspective of somebody who is a convict who has been captured by whichever governmental system is putting them into this. But they're expendable. So the government is going to put them in this retrofitted submarine that, because it can't really survive the viscosity and pressure of the blood, they just weld it fully shut. It becomes an iron lung of like, they only have so much oxygen within it.
Sounds kind of like Mickey 17.
Kind of has that vibe to it. Not as comedic. It's much more dramatic in the way that it's presented. It's a very claustrophobic film. And they submerge this iron lung into the blood ocean, where they are also like, because it's an old submarine, the viewports that would be on it have to be closed off whenever they go into the blood because they would shatter otherwise. And the only means that they have to see anything is there's an X-ray machine on board that shoots X-rays and gives an image after 5-second pulse. So the whole film is told through this character's eyes as he navigates this iron lung. Mark Fischbach is the writer, director, and star of it, and that usually is a triple threat for a bad time, in my perspective, especially when you're going to do something this big. And sometimes his performance doesn't really like land as well as I would want it to, because it feels like he's just doing too much in a lot of the scenes because he probably had a lot to coordinate. But I did enjoy this. I think that the movie had pacing problems. Times it feels a little bit long in how it's dragging you through. Like there's a very methodical pace of like psychosis that this character's undergoing because he's in the ocean alone, in this blood ocean alone, can't see anything, can only see like X-ray images after 5 seconds of exposure to something. And it's like a limited amount of time he can use that for. Like all of these things kind of build up, and it teaches you as you watch the movie, you understand the stakes of it. You don't need to know anything about the game to go into it and enjoy it. And the whole thing is about him trying to just earn his freedom. The whole promise is that if he can find whatever it is that his government entity is trying to find, then he'll go free, supposedly, they say. But there's no guarantee at all. And there's kind of like this back and forth that the movie weighs on, like, what is it that you're really trying to achieve? At what point do you just believe that what is being told to you is for the better good, for the greater good? It really is true. And it really pushes kind of his, like to the end of his wits. Like, what is your survivalist instinct really going to tell you? Do you burn it all down, or do you really try to save like whatever you can? It was a very interesting movie. I saw it with like 3 people. I was in a theater alone with like 3 other people, and we were all pretty quiet and on our edge of our seat, kind of watching this, trying to see what would happen next. But yeah, like I said, pacing issues in the middle, it kind of dragged a little bit, but I think it was necessary in the isolationism and the claustrophobia it has, to where at the end of the movie, a lot of the pacing issues felt sort of justified. Like it dragged you through time in a way that being alone for that long would. So it was interesting. It had like this kind of give and take to it. I don't know that I would recommend it to people, which is the only thing. It's like, it just felt like I was going to see a social experiment because everybody made such a fucking big deal out of it. And that's where things become murky for me, is I'm like, I don't know if I'd recommend it, because I don't know if I really enjoyed it or if I was influenced by external factors of knowing everything about it, its production, being kind of like pro indie. Like, am I recommending it for the wrong reasons, or like what is the case for it? So
I heard this was like a laptop movie. Is that the case, where it's like one of those things where like the character is just on a computer the whole time?
No, I mean, he's at a console and driving like the submarine and moving around, but it is one set. Like the entire time.
But there is a camera following him around.
There's a camera,
like webcam stuff.
And the camera is thoughtfully placed in a lot of location. Like they have basically the main body, the hull of the submarine, and it reveals itself as it goes, which you wouldn't think would be possible, because from like the first scene, you're kind of like, I know exactly where he is and I can see the end of the submarine. What else could there be? But there are like shadowy nooks in it that reveal themselves at the right time for story purposes. And there's like an undersection and compartment where like some mechanisms and other things are that reveal themselves as the story goes on. And it's also, I think it has like the world record for like the most amount of fake blood used in a movie, which is just wild to kind of see happen, I guess. So I was like,
a whole
I
lake.
can think of a lot of movies that have used a lot of fake blood.
Yeah, that's where I was like, how much blood they really use in this movie?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? I will say the cosmic horror, it's a cosmic horror film. So like within it, the cosmic horror is done very well. Like a lot of the times that I see whatever the monster creature is supposed to be, I genuinely had an unsettling feeling, got like kind of a goosebumps thing, and just hated looking at whatever that thing was. And you also, because there's no viewport, you only see it through these 5-second snapshots of the X-ray, in like, because the blood is so thick, there's nothing you could really see outside of it anyway. I thought that was really well done and super creative. So it was a lot of the technical aspects of it really impressive to me. So
interesting. Yeah, I would imagine the pacing of that would have to be very difficult to kind of keep you engaged with a movie that's like, is it just one character? Like,
yeah, it's just one character. There's like 3 other people that sort of come in and out of it, but in different points,
like virtually
through a speaker. There's like an old speaker system that has like a some kind of like radio communication to it. And anytime that the camera is showing that person talking, they're just zoomed in on that camera, or the speaker system. So it's not like you're seeing new people. There's like one time we get to see an actual other human, and they're on the outside of the Iron Lung, about to like send it down. It's like somebody in the naval ship or whatever that's going to send it in. That's like it. But the rest of it is all just with this one character. So yeah, it's really challenging a really bold kind of way to enter a theatrical release. It's crazy that's the idea. Was I think the movie's like 2 hours long too, which is where my pacing problem. It could have been like 20 minutes shorter for me,
or 20 minutes total.
Yeah, 20 minutes. Potentially there could have been a thing like that. Yeah. It does do a pretty good job. There's some parts where the script feels like it repeats itself, but I overall think I had a good time. I would recommend it for somebody out there who's looking for a horror movie that is more atmosphere and mood and like really trying to build through the time rather than like jump scare. It doesn't do the jump scare thing. Like it's not like duh, like all the time, which I appreciated.
There are two things that this reminds me of. One is Ad Astra, which I loved, and I know you didn't.
I loved it. I liked it.
Oh,
I just I have disagreements about how they did internal monologues and such on it, but I did like Ad Astra.
Like there's an extended period of him like alone in space, like losing his mind.
Yeah,
like it kind of reminds me of that. And then Skinamarink.
Yes.
Like a dude making a movie on a shoestring budget without like distribution and like it like being atmospheric and way too long.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that too. Are those
a perfect
like
summary?
Comparisons?
Actually. That's a perfect summary, actually.
Hey, I haven't even seen the movie.
Yeah, you haven't even seen the movie, but it is very much like a Skinamarink meets Ad Astra. There is sort of that like question, this character's question of like, what am I doing this for and why am I trying to do it? Am I trying to survive or am I trying to save something? That's what it tends to dwell on. And then mixed with like that cosmic horror and isolationism. Yeah, it's perfect atmospheric psychosis, I suppose. So yeah, I did enjoy it. It's one of those where like it's pretty down the fairway for me. Like it's like a 3 to I think I had a 4-star experience, which I don't want to try to quantify it. But when I came out of it, I was kind of so struck by how it ended that I felt really good about it. I was like, wow, like even the times when I felt like it was dragging me through its pacing, the ending was so kind of like chaotic and climactic that it justified a lot of that drag. So it was interesting. I'm more fascinated by the conversation around it. So I would say I recommend it, but also like, this movie and then like Shelby Oaks, which came out last year, have this like narrative. We're seeing more and more people come that are like, this movie was made by somebody who was a YouTuber and now they're making real movies. And that like becomes the justification for people to go see it is like, hey, look, this YouTuber made a movie in theaters where like, that's not where your phone is. And it's like, okay.
If you're at an AMC, it is.
Yes. And soon a Draft House.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that is kind of like the thing that I'm conflicted about. It's like, I want to support independent filmmaking, but I feel weirdly conflicted about supporting like the narrative behind these kind of movies where it's like, well, they did it, they made it. And it's like, wow, this person who is a like a millionaire on YouTube made it in cinema. Like, of course,
yeah, this isn't an underdog story.
Yeah,
this is a guy who's already rich and successful.
Right. Yeah, which I will say, like Mark Fischbach, it seems like he's really good to his staff and his crew. He said that a lot of this was his fans calling different theaters and demanding that they like stock this film, that they distribute and accept this film, which is, like really admirable that he has a fan base willing to do that for him. And any additional like ticket sales that went to it, he posted some video talking about how like he has like a contractual bake in with the crew that they would get bonuses beyond like a certain point once they made the money back for the movie. So it's like, cool, what's that distribution structure? I'd really love to see him break down how this works and how he kind of makes it work for the whole crew of artists. I don't want to just think that he did well and be like, that's good, he succeeded, when this is a larger story about like, how do we as a community, how can communities make art and make money off of it to survive in this industry? Like, how can you help others? My hope is that his next step would be to start a production studio that funds like other independent visions and voices. no guarantees on any of that, but he seems to be the kind of guy who might be interested in helping other people get their films off the ground and get their voices out there. That's like the real hope I have. I don't want to just take solace in like, he did it, everybody. He beat the system by becoming a new system. that's the problem.
There's like a YouTube to movie director pipeline that is now happening. Yeah,
exactly.
Right. It is interesting to think about. Like, this is the time where a quality camera, software, like all the budget for those is so minimal, right? And the quality that you can get with that stuff is as good as anything else that anyone else is using. But I don't really feel like we've had something that has been like a breakthrough like that.
Yeah.
It still feels like either the indie stuff that's successful, like you end up like, well, technically like A24 ended up being a part of it or whatever. Like it really wasn't like a one person went and put the whole thing together. There's a little bit more than that. Yeah. Has there been something that's like like somebody from YouTube like made something and pulled it off? Like I'm like thinking of like
Bo
back
Burnham,
in the day.
Does that
like,
count? You know, like Inside.
Yeah, it was that like it's
still
a
Netflix
huge hit? I guess not, but it did.
Yeah, but it's like he kind of did the whole thing.
Yeah,
himself.
Right, he did really do it all himself.
Yeah. He did this. Yeah. I don't know.
But I'm thinking of like Clerks has a staying power, and that really was a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
Put together by just a few individuals.
So like old indie films, the old style indie films that came through.
Like really, truly scrappy films that managed to break through. You think there would be, and then maybe it's just more of an effect of the way we consume media right now also is then counter to being able to make a long production and have a high quality. It's easier. I was actually talking about this just yesterday where I was like, it almost seems like it's easier to just make a bunch of money doing small bite-sized things, and then you never need to go for something bigger. And I wonder how many like potential artists are held back by the fact that they don't have to push to get through to actually make something. It's like, well, you just make it, but you can just make a bunch of little stuff and make a bunch of money. And why would you try to push so hard like this to get something even to a theater when he could have just put it out on YouTube and probably made his money back or whatever anyway?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I think you do have movies in the last decade that have been shoestring budgets that have like ended up getting theatrical distribution, but like they have to get like entrance to a film festival and then get purchased at the film festival, right? So like it's like, oh, A24 is behind it. Well, they weren't, and then it premiered at Sundance and A24 bought it. Yeah. And then they put it out there and made sure it got adequate distribution. But like like the kind of era of like the Duplass brothers and the that type of indie cinema that is very much kind of shoestring budget, very not paying your actors, using whatever equipment you have. Like that's a thing that happens, but either they get bought at Sundance or they don't make it into Sundance, and then they make it into South by Southwest and they don't get bought anywhere, and then they go disappear forever. Like there's stuff like that still gets made, but you don't really like necessarily hear about them that way because once you see the trailer, it's like Neon presents, and it's like it doesn't look like that sort of thing anymore.
I guess Terrifier.
Oh, yeah.
It was on like and I guess actually when I think about it, I'm like horror movies on stupid low budgets like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Halloween. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm thinking of is like the budgets for those are so much lower than the budget for Iron Lung. I guess when you need to buy that many gallons of fake blood, your budget goes up. But like it does seem like you could get away with making something under $100,000, under a couple $100,000 really pretty easily and be like quality, but it is surprising that it's not out there. But yeah, Terrifier was like what, $50,000 something like that. And they've gotten 2 more movies out of that, and I will say I see it in like in the Halloween stores, people are buying shirts and stuff from that. So
It's
maybe
that,
that's the closest.
iconography. It's all of how marketable it can be. I don't know how you can market Iron Lung outside of what I saw in the movies. I was like, there's no merchandising, which is like, to me, that's good.
Somebody made some money marketing it from a game to a movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I did see a bunch of fans make like the terrible like abomination of a popcorn bucket that it would make if AMC actually sponsored it.
If it doesn't have a popcorn bucket, is it really a movie?
Everybody is in on that trend of making horrible popcorn buckets, and you know what? Sure, why not? Fuck it.
Something that looks like your dick should go inside of it.
I can't wait
for with every popcorn bucket. How do I fuck this thing?
Dixon, are you saying that the Fast and the Furious popcorn bucket is going to be the Titane popcorn bucket as well?
Oh yeah, just an exost pipe sticking out
there
of
you go.
the popcorn bucket. Yeah,
that's all you need. But yeah, I would recommend Iron Lung. It was long, like I said, it has pacing issues, but I did enjoy it. For what it is, for the people who made it, I don't even want to qualify it that way. I think if I had stumbled upon it and just watched it on like a streaming service, I would have thought it was pretty good. I would have enjoyed myself and the atmosphere that it built. And if I didn't know who the fuck Mark Fischbach was, Markiplier, I still think I would have had a good time with it. So, yeah, that was...
A couple more questions for you. So you talk about the set. Is that a real built set, or is it
real
CGI
built.
or
Real
some
built.
combination of the two?
Real built. It does feel
so there is some
real.
budget in this for sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
and the thing is, like, the Iron Lung, as it goes, the submarine becomes rustier. There's a visual texture that builds on top of it where things become bloodier and goopier, and it starts to seem more organic, which is pretty wild to see. So I also really love a good horror movie where a lot is left to the imagination. So there are times where characters will say things kind of like outright as like, you know, there's something out there, or there's something like this. And it's kind of face value. Like you can tell it's expositional. They're trying to tell you what's going on, but they never take away the element of imagination of like what the actual creature or cosmic horror fully looks like. And I love that. I hate a horror movie that reveals everything about its monster, reveals how it works, reveals the full lore. Ryan, you know what I'm talking about, where they like explain this is Bagul and he does all this shit and like whatever the fuck. They don't do that. They keep it super ambiguous in a way that when I left, I was like, I don't even fucking know what I saw. Like, I don't know what he saw. It was, I enjoy that kind of cosmic horror, and the fact that it respected its audience enough to not be like, here's what everything is in this movie. Like,
yeah.
So
building on that, my last question is, this sounds like a script that really paints itself into a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious about the ending. I don't want to watch the movie.
Yeah.
But I'm curious as to
the best way to say spoilers.
I'm curious as to where it goes. And you know, we don't spoil things on Recommend or Refute, but like that seems like it's just painting itself to a corner where like either he's just going to run out of air and he's going to die, and it's going to be this weird, depressing movie, which I assume that's not what it is, or there's some sort of, you know, hope for humanity that he finds, or some sort of monster at the end, and it ends in some sort of, I would assume, ambiguous fashion,
climactic hurrah.
Even if there is some sort of thing that occurs at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you speak any more toward the ending, or how the movie handles the fact that it kind of paints itself into a corner? Maybe that's the better question. Without spoilers, the movie paints itself into a corner. How does it get itself out? How does it handle that dynamic?
The movie ties up its main character's redemption arc. As far as he's concerned, he has achieved the redemption he seeks, even though he struggles throughout. Sort of like this, am I doing the right thing or not? And in the end, he makes a decision that sits with him as being the right decision. And for the audience, like for me, I felt satisfied in what that was. There is enough ambiguity at the end that even though he's made a decision he sees as right, it's not going to be necessarily immediately like, oh, that's the wrong decision from an audience standpoint. But you can walk away from the movie asking, like, did it really matter the way that he did this? Or like, how do we even know that's going to make a fucking difference? Which I think is the whole point, is like, you never really know what you're doing when you're about to die, or when you're about to like meet that kind of fate, like this weird cosmic horror is coming for him and he is in this submarine that's completely welded shut. There's only so many ways out of it. How is it going to end? And like when he makes his final choice, it's not one that is going to be like, dust your hands off, we're done. Like the universe is saved and everybody's happy. It's like there is going to be suffering after this. And like, we don't even know if this really helps, but he believed in it. And that has to be something that has to mean something. And I think that because of the main character's struggle throughout it, it feels satisfying to me. So hopefully that helps answer that question.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, for folks out there who are interested in it, who want to see whatever this Guinness World Record of fake blood or some shit is, and are interested in cosmic horror and a movie that really teaches you a lot about, it does a lot of good world building from inside one set. I found that to be really satisfying. So
do you know what movie it broke the record of? And
not.
was it directed by
like
Quentin Tarantino?
No, it looks like it was the Evil Dead remake.
Oh, the Evil Dead
This
remake had
record.
that, huh? Okay, there you go.
And we look like we're in the tens of thousands of gallons of blood. That's what we're
Wow,
talking about.
that's a lot of
That's
cornstarch.
fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some insane scenes in it that I was like, this is just visually amazing. Like, even though you don't want to watch it, Dixon, I'll clip some of those when it comes out and
Okay.
send it and be like, here's like some of the cool shit and don't worry about the rest of it. It's fine. But yeah, it had some really powerful moments. So.
Interesting. Cool. All right. That wraps us up for recommend or refute. We have a meh from
Refute for
Ryan for
Zootopia
Zootopia 2.
Zootopia?
Where did you land on that one, Ryan? Recommend or refute?
I would refute.
Okay.
Zootopia? No.
Got to
It's probably
refute.
better time that you could spend on something else.
Okay.
If you got a family that needs a movie, Zootopia 2 is the one for you.
If you've watched everything else, yeah. No, it's not that bad, but yeah.
I am recommending Il Sorpasso, and John is refuting Iron.
How dare you say I'm refuting
Wow.
Iron Lung? You choked on your own words,
I did.
sir. I'm recommending Iron Lung.
I thought you refuted it.
No, I was recommending it. I
Okay.
went back and forth on it and I said yes.
Recommending Iron
I
Lung.
He waffled the whole time.
I waffled the
As
whole
usual.
time and I concluded. I stuck the landing, everybody.
When you
Gymkhana
waffle
style.
and land on recommend, it's not very convincing.
What do you mean? I didn't recommend Wastelands.
Okay.
I waffled on it.
Anyway, we've got a refute, recommend.
you go.
Thank you for joining us this week on Afterthoughts. I have been your host, Michael Dixon. With me, as always,
Ryan King. Maybe next episode, John will be the one where we finally figure out recommend or refute.
probably not at this rate.
That's right.
Probably not.
And
John Garcia, newly employed at the Waffle House, everybody. Picking fights and waffling on everything.
congratulations.
Thank you. It feels good to be employed.
Hey, I love the Waffle House. It's a fine establishment.
I can finally feed all of my medicinal addictions and talk with Danny about it.
Thanks for putting up with our bullshit.
Hey there, movie buffs, TV toughs, and all listeners in between. John here from the Afterthoughts podcast. I just wanted to drop in at the end of this episode and say thanks for listening. If you've got afterthoughts of your own to share, hit us up. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Afterpod, or jump into a conversation on our Discord server. You can find info for this and more at theafterpod.transistor.fm. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.